What is up, dudes, lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we got Duelist Pack 5 announced to come out in June 8th, 2019. I'm not sure if this is for OCG or TCG, but OCG probably makes the most sense. They usually drop dates for OCG before us. But Duelist Pack 5, pretty cool. We just actually got Duelist Pack 4 about a month ago, so I guess this makes sense. I feel like we'd usually have a couple more months before we'd hear about it, but I'm not complaining. And this is going to be a little video. We have almost no information, really. This is just going to be a little video about me talking about what I want / think could be here in this Duelist Pack, because I love these speculation things. I love guessing and seeing how right I can be, and also wishing and getting my wishes out there, and hopefully you guys wish along with me. So, as far as this goes, I want to start by going back to all the other previous Duelist Packs and looking at what they all had in their contents to help maybe find a pattern and see what we could pick for this one. So as far as Duelist Pack 1, the cover art was Joey Wheeler. Makes sense, not quite the main character, but the second main character of the original series. The other characters that got support though were Mal Valentine and My Valentine and her Amazoness cards, Mako Tsunami and his Water deck, Cyrus Truesdale with Roids, Zane Truesdale with Cyberdark, and Bastion Masaba with like the bonding / a chemical deck with the Hydrogeddon stuff, Water Dragon. What's mostly important here to me is that we have 3 characters from the original series and 3 characters from the second series, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. That's what I'm most worried about here. Then let's move to Legendary Duelist Pack 2, where we have Maximilian Pegasus, really interesting, our main antagonist for the original series, right on the cover. That's really interesting. Along with him, you see Bandit Keith and his Dark Machines getting new support, Weevil Underwood with Insects, Chaz Princeton with Ojamas / the Armed Dragons, Velian Crowler with Ancient Gears, Jesse Anderson with Crystal Beast, and then obviously Pegasus had the Eyes Restrict monsters. And again, we see the same exact pattern. We see the first 3 coming from the original series, and the second 3 all coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So 3 and 3, 3 and 3. The first 2 kind of go exactly the same, just with different characters. Then we move to Legendary Duelist Pack 3, and this is where we all get flipped on our noodles. Seto Kaiba is the cover. Nothing surprising. This is kind of like your, what is it? What's like, I guess he's kind of like the cross between Wheeler and Pegasus, where he's like a bad guy at times, but a good guy at other times. It's kind of weird. He's like that, what's the word? I can't know, but when you do like Dungeons and Dragons, you're like a good evil or whatever it's called, a necessary evil, whatever the call is for your character. But anyway, the other characters that get supported are Zane Truesdale. Again, interesting that he gets double, but it makes sense because he's one of the very few characters that actually end up switching archetypes mid-series. He starts with Cyber Dragons and he ends up with Cyber Darks. This set he does get Cyber Dragon support. Crow Hogan and his Black Wings, Kite Tenjo and his Photon / Galaxy Eyes, and then Silvio Sawatori and Abyss Actors. And then obviously Kaiba has Blue Eyes. Now, we see a huge change in where they pull the characters from. The big change here is that Kaiba's from the original, Zane Truesdale is from GX, Crow is from 5Ds, Kite is from Zexal, and Silvio is from Arc V, is what people call it. Yeah, completely different. You literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order of the series, while the other ones were literally 3, 1, 3, 2, and yeah, just completely different. Also, there were only 5 characters in these instead of 6. I think this was just Konami realizing they kind of wanted to drag out the Legendary Duelist series, and to do that, they were going to lower the number of duelists getting supported. That way, they could, let those leftover duelists get put into future Duelist packs, or something like that. So a huge change here, one from every single series except for the one currently ongoing, which makes sense. This is a Legendary Duelist pack, supposed to be duelists from the past. And then we look at the fourth Legendary Duelist pack, which is the newest one, Sisters of the Rose, with My Valentine on the cover. She gets Harpy support here. The other duelists are Alexis Rhodes with Cyber Angels, Akiza with Rose Dragons, Annika Boom with Trains, and Zuzu Boyle with Luna Lights. This was an all-girl pack. That was kind of the gimmick here. The other ones didn't really have gimmicks. I would have been interested if like the Pegasus one was like a villain gimmick where they just picked 5 of the more villainous characters. But I'm not mad. Well, they did put Bandit Keith, Weevil, Chaz, Crowler. Jesse Anderson, I guess, is the big oddball. The other ones are, at some point, feel kind of antagonistic, but Jesse Anderson, not really at all. But yeah, anyway, back to Legendary Duelist Pack 4. This is the same exact thing as we saw in the last one. 5 duelists, Mai from the original, Alexis from GX, Akiza from 5Ds, Annika Boom from Zexal, and Zuzu from Arc V. Again, 1 from each one. It makes it really tough for me to predict. I guess maybe we predict that it's going to go exactly the same, because I feel like Konami's realizing they were running out of characters from the original and GX, so they were just like, let's just do 1 from those from now on, and let's fill the rest from the newer series. But that leads us to where we stand in terms of what's possible for this one. So I kind of broke this up. I went into every Wikia page for every single series and read about every relevant character that at least was listed in the Wikia, and extrapolated which ones actually had archetypes or things that could be developed in archetypes, and went from there. So from the original Yu-Gi-Oh, I have 5 characters that are really even possible. First is Bones. He played generic zombies. He didn't really play an archetype, but back in the day, like none of those characters really played archetypes. They just played cards. Like Bones just played zombies, not really an actual archetypal deck. So I would really like to see some zombie support. We did just get Zombie Horde, but zombies is a beloved archetype. I wouldn't be surprised if Konami just tried to keep jumping on the zombie train and giving us a little more support there. That would be cool. Odeon with Trap Monsters. This is one I like a lot. This could be so cool to me, I think, is if they just made an actual archetype out of Trap Monsters. That's actually not terrible. They don't have to be amazing, obviously, but I'd like to see something interesting. Maybe all the Trap Monsters have like kind of weird floodgate effects when they're on the field. So like you flip 3 or 4 of them, you've got 3 or 4 monsters on the board now, but they also have like weird little floodgate effects that makes it really awkward for your opponent to try and play around that. That would be really spicy to me. We also see Rex Raptor. He's kind of like Bones, except with dinosaurs. He doesn't really have an archetype. He just plays dinosaurs in general. So I would like to see some generic, solid dinosaur support. And the last one here, the second to last one here is Esperoba with Jinzo. Esperoba, again, didn't really have an archetype, but neither did Bandit Keith. He just kind of had that the barrel dragon, and that was pretty much it. With a bunch of other machines, and they made a dark machine archetype out of it. This could be the same thing. We've already seen Jinzo get a couple other Jinzo cards, and maybe this could be something where we see the rest of a Jinzo archetype be developed with spells and traps and maybe an extra deck monster, something crazy like that. That would be really interesting to see. And then the last character I have is Yugi himself. Obviously, none of these, the prior Duelist packs, have had the actual main character in it. No Jaden, no Yugi, no Yusei, no Yuya, and whoever the other guy is. I don't remember. I didn't watch past 5Ds, so excuse me for names of the further shows. But anyway, the reason I could see Yugi is because he's the only one that actually has like a possible archetype here. Well, I guess you could say the Jinzo is kind of an archetype now, but Esperoba is not really a particularly prevalent character. This could be the first time we see Yugi, because we saw Yugi always used kind of a mishmash deck, but he did use little pieces of archetypes, and where we saw that the most is probably the Magnet Warriors, some of his like quintessential cards that a lot of people know him by, especially if you watch the show. And we saw the Magnet Warriors get a new iteration with actual effects and a new boss monster, and some spell and trap cards as well. They just didn't end up being as good as ABCs, which are still topping events to this day. And a lot of people, including myself, think that Magna Warriors just got the shaft. They both got the support at the same time, but ABCs ended up being meta and then some, and they just literally made Magnet Warriors bad ABCs, when I think Magnet Warriors are more appealing than ABCs aesthetically. Anyway, I would just love, this is more wish than think. We haven't seen a main character, but I really wish we could see a Magnet Warrior archetype arise. That would be so dope. Anyway, when we move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, there's not really much going on. The only 3 characters I really saw that really applied were Aster Phoenix with Destiny Heroes, Axel Brody with Volcanics, and Hasselberry with Dinos again. If you didn't put Rex Raptor in there, you could just put Hasselberry and still do the same kind of generic Dino support, just put it under Hasselberry's name, which works. Aster Phoenix, I don't really see that happening because we are getting so much Destiny Hero support in Dark Neostorm. It doesn't really make sense to like double up like that. We're already getting like numerous cards. We're getting like what? We're getting between 5 and 10 cards. That's a good amount of cards in just a regular set like that. So I doubt we'll see Destiny Heroes. And the last one is Axel Brody with Volcanics. Volcanics could be interesting, but you know, if they didn't go all out on it, I don't know. It's like Volcanics is such like an overshadowed. So many people I feel like forget about it. Maybe this is how they bring it back into relevancy, or they just leave it alone because it's a forgotten archetype. Let it be forgotten. I don't know. I think Hasselberry makes the most sense. Don't take Rex, take Hasselberry, give Dino support. I think that's the way to go here. Then when you use Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, there's a little more here. We have Jack Atlas with the red dragon kind of archetype. It's not just the red dragon extract monsters. There are a couple red monsters. They just have red in front of their name, and that kind of makes up a little archetype for Jack Atlas. But I'd love to see it get a little more fleshed out, because he's supposed to be like the Kaiba of 5Ds, but I feel like his archetype never really got the respect that Blue Eyes has gotten. And obviously it's nowhere near as iconic, but for 5Ds, it is. If you are a fan of 5Ds, it is kind of iconic like that. So I would love to see that happen. Leo with Morphtronics. I don't even know if Morphtronics are salvageable, but I also probably didn't think that like Cyber Angels were salvageable, and we got Cyber Angel support, so what do I know? We could see Trudge and Goyos actually get like an archetype developed, because it's kind of same thing as the red archetype. They're just kind of like a group of extract monsters with not really much in the main deck, so I don't know if I'd really call it an archetype, but maybe they flesh that out a little bit, work on an extra deck and actually make an archetype, because Trudge is a liked character. He's kind of that tough badass that's always chasing Yusei around, annoying him, and then he becomes more of like a good guy, a helper in the end. Carly Carmine, she plays Fortune Ladies. That could be another possible one. I always thought they were an appealing archetype, but we're a little too reliant on normal summon and couldn't really get on the field super quick and other things. So that was like the main concern there. But maybe if they went in, they could make this an archetype that melds with witchcrafts really well or something. I don't know. You know, you tell me. Then we have Sherry LeBlanc. She plays Fleur, which is Fleur, which I believe is like flower in French, if I'm not mistaken. But this is kind of like Akiza, how Akiza just had red rose dragon, what am I doing? Black Rose Dragon. Jeez, it's not red. Black Rose Dragon. Jeez. Oh my god. And it wasn't really an archetype, but they fleshed it out a little more in the most recent pack, and maybe they do that here with Floors. I could see that. That could be really interesting. They are pretty cool. It's like a knight, but it's combined with flowers, which is cool to me. Then we see Infernity and what is his name? Colin Kessler. This one I don't expect. I think Infernities have already had their time in the meta, atop the meta by far, and Inferni Berry just came back to 3, so they're back to almost full power. They're just waiting on one more monster, I believe. I don't think they need the support. I don't think Konami's trying to mess around with that kind of stuff again. Z1 with Time Lords, that could be interesting. I don't particularly like the Time Lord archetype, but it works, it fits, it could be. I don't know. Antinomy with TGs. I don't expect this one. The same thing as like Destiny Heroes. We just saw a bunch of TG support come out, and we're going to see more come out in Dark Neostorm, and I don't know, maybe other sets too. I don't know. We just got too much TG support recently that I don't expect to see it in there. Then we move to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, where we have Nistro with Hero Challengers. Could work. Quattro with Gimmick Puppets. We did just get the Link Monster. Maybe we see something there. Tren? They put Tren? Trey? With Chronomalies. Again, it works, I guess. It's an archetype. Not very appealing, but it could work. Vector with Umbrals. Who knows? Damon with Star Seraphs. Nothing crazy. Alita with Battling Boxers. This is my pick for Zexal, actually, is Battling Boxer. I think it fits the most. I think it's the most appealing archetype out of the ones that fit out of Zexal. So I would love to see that. That would be so cool to me. It, like, outside of the main character and like decks that have already been used here, like we saw Trains and Photon Galaxy, there's not a ton of just actual archetypes that we could see come out of Zexal. But Battling Boxer, I think, is up there for making that list, and I would love to see that. Then we move to Arc V. This is the last one where we see, I'm not even going to list the characters because there's literally like 20. I'm just going to list the archetypes. We've got Phantom Knights. Don't expect that. I think Phantom Knights are about to get hit on the next ban list anyway. We're going to see Rusty Bardiche go. He's too abusable and with dangers and stuff. Lyrilusk, maybe, but it just seems so underdeveloped. Maybe it gets developed. Speedroids, we do have the new Link monster coming out, and we have got a couple other random, we got the one, no, I think we got 2 Speedroid monsters announced, but we have no idea where they're coming. That could be where. Wind Witches, that would be awesome. I like Wind Witches as an engine, but I would love to see them get fleshed out into an actual archetype / deck, and we could just play a Wind Witch deck. That would be cool. Predaplants, they're so fleshed out. I don't think they'd get support at this point. There's just so much Predaplant support already. Fluffles, I could see that. I know there's a ton of support, but it's like such a fan favorite that I wouldn't be surprised if Konami's just like, whatever, you guys love Fluffles so much, here's just some more Fluffle stuff. Hopefully this gets you into the top cut at a YCS, finally. Super Heavy Samurais, again, another archetype getting a new Link monster. We don't know when, but maybe this could be when, and maybe a couple other support cards too. But they also have so many Super Heavy Samurai cards out already, so maybe they don't because there's already so many. They're not trying to overdo it. DDs, another archetype that has a lot of cards, but it's also a very loved Pendulum archetype, so I wouldn't be surprised. New Link monster kind of could all go in there together. I could see that. Constellars. This deck had its time, but it was a while ago, so maybe Konami tries to reinvent this deck, get this deck back up and running again. That would be interesting there. X-Sabers, an older archetype, but that would be cool. I'd be into it. I wouldn't complain. Gem Knights, I do not expect to see Gem Knights here at all. With the FTK and, you know, Brilliant Fusion being abused so much, like, I don't really expect Gem Knights to be to get any more help than what they have now. Flower Guardians, that could be a really niche deck that maybe they throw in there to get a little support. That would be really interesting. Then we see Prediction Princess. It's a flip archetype. I mean, you're not Subterrors, so I don't know if you can exist in this game, but maybe Konami just tries to go in. And the one I would love to see the most, by far, out of Arc V is Ninjas. And they did have a small ninjutsu art / Twilight Ninja archetype in here, and I would love to see some kind of ninja support here that works with the regular ninja stuff, you know, Hanzo, Yellow Ninja, the newer support we just got. Saizo is an awesome Link monster. I would love to see that. Then we see Performapal. It's kind of like the main character's archetype too, so I don't really expect to see that. It's kind of like a cop-out, even though I think it's his brother here that uses the same kind of cards, but different a little bit. And the last one is Raid Raptor, another archetype that's getting the new Link monster. Maybe we see a little bit of stuff, but I think the deck can already do some spicy things with Rusty Bardiche, so I don't know if Konami's trying to give them any kind of help, because I think they're already going to be pretty well off once they get the Link. But there you go. Those are all the decks that I think could be considered. As far as the ones I think the ones that would make the most sense is maybe we see either Odeon, Esperoba, or like Bones getting either zombies like trap monsters or like a little Jinzo archetype. I think those would make the most sense. I don't expect to see Yugi, but that's who I'd want the most, getting Magnet Warriors, even more development there. For GX, I'm expecting, I would guess Hasselberry. I think Hasselberry makes the most sense. Dinos are loved. Hasselberry was a cool character. He could be annoying at times, but I liked him overall, and everybody loves dinosaurs, so I think that would be really cool to just give generic dinosaur support. Then we see out of 5Ds, I would guess either Sherry LeBlanc getting Floors developed into an actual archetype, Jack Atlas getting Red Dragons developed a little more, or Carly Carmine getting Fortune Ladies developed a little more into an archetype with support. Those would be my three guesses. I would guess mostly Atlas, because he's the most prevalent like actual character, and they need to have some legit characters, because in every one of these duels packs before, there was like a character that was like nice. Joy Wheeler, bang, hit it. Pegasus, bang, classic character, hit it. Kaiba, bang, hit it. My Valentine, bang, hit it. But they have to have a character here that's like bang, like that's a classic character. You gotta have at least one classic character in there to like help sell your product. So maybe Jack Atlas could be that character, because I don't think Bones, Rex Raptor, or Esperoba are going to get it done. Or maybe this is why they put Yugi in here for Magnet Warriors, to get that, boom, classic character on the Duelist cover. Bang. Nice. I hope. As far as Zexal goes, I think by far and away Battling Boxer makes the most sense. I think it's the most loved out of the ones I saw. And keep in mind, I may be wrong, and maybe there may be something not included in the wiki article that's a good archetype that would still work, and maybe I just missed it while reading. I did read for like 2 hours, so I might have missed some things. I was kind of skimming because I didn't have time to actually read every single sentence, but there's that. But I think Battling Boxers makes the most sense. I think it's the most likable, and it's going to help Konami sell the product the most as far as like in the Zexal era. And then we look at Arc V. For me, Arc V, I would want to see either Wind Witch or Ninjas. That's pretty much it. I would really love to see Wind Witch become an actual archetype. Then I would actually pick them up for sure, because they're already so powerful as an engine. If they just got a couple more like nice support cards to actually make them a legit deck, I would be on board. And for Ninjas, if you've already watched this channel, you've seen my old deck profile. I'm going to make a new deck profile, but I'm just having troubles like finding the right way to play the deck. But anyway, I love Ninjas. I would love to see Ninjas. Ninjas don't need that much support to literally, boom, tier 2. Like, they're tier 3 right now, but I think like the like 2 or 3 cards is all they need to boom. Like, as long as they're the right kind of cards, boom, tier 2, maybe tier 1.5, like straight up. People sleep on Ninjas. Anyway, guys, I don't want to talk your ear off for too long, but that's my guess. That's what I want. I want Magnet Warriors, Dinosaurs, Fortune Lady, Battling Boxer, and either Wind Witch or Ninjas. That's like the dream. If I had all 5 of those, I would literally cry and nut at the same time. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. It just would happen, all right? It's not going to happen, but I wish. And I told you what I think as well. So let me know what you guys want the most out of this Duelist pack. Pick 5. Give me 5 Duelists and their archetypes of what you want to get support for. Because I want to see that. Because I want to know what people like, what the people who follow me, what they like the most. Because that also gives me ideas of what kind of content to produce in the future. So please do that. Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed just talking about what we could get and the hype around a new pack coming out, subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this in the future. I kind of like doing these like theoreticals / just like let's just talk about it and see where we end up, and theorize what we could get from these, because I just think it's fun. It's just a good time to me, and I can talk for hours. You guys know that. So you've been on this channel for a while, but thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna get out of here before I hit the 25-minute mark. But thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much. Peace.